In local matters, voters in Virginia are heading to the polls Tuesday to cast their votes for governor in the tightly contested race and one of the most anticipated since the 2020 presidential election. Virginia's former Democratic Governor Terry McAuliffe and Republican businessman Glenn Youngkin are essentially tied going into Election Day. A Republican has not won a statewide race since 2009. McAuliffe maintained a single-digit lead over the Republican in public polls throughout the summer. But Youngkin has gained significant momentum leading up to Election Day, appealing to suburban and independent voters. For more, I want to bring in Laura Vozzella. She's a reporter for the Washington Post covering Virginia politics. Laura, welcome. We are down to the wire here. Let's start with the Republican candidate. So former President Trump is holding an 11th hour virtual rally for Glenn Youngkin, who has tried to distance himself from Mr. Trump. Tell us more about this dynamic. Does the former president have a lot of support in Virginia?
Well, he does among Republicans, and yet among suburban swing voters who are crucial to winning the state, he is very much, very unpopular. And so it's been an awkward tightrope that Youngkin has walked throughout the race. And this rally tonight is sort of a metaphor for that. It's closed to the press and it's open only to Trump supporters who will be notified and invited to take part in the rally. And Youngkin is not officially part of it at all.
Right. I mean, I talk about awkward tightrope walking, indeed. Well, I want to ask you about a county that some say could help decide this race, Loudoun County, Virginia. You know, some folks are saying, given what has taken place there, this is really a county to watch. Give us some context here. What has made Loudoun County really a place where so many are focusing their political attention, especially with this issue of education?
Well, it's really an exurb of Washington, D.C. It's very wealthy. And it's also grown increasingly diverse in recent years. And so it used to be solidly Republican, then it became a swing county. And while Trump was in the White House, Democrats made great gains there. This race is going to be the first test of whether some of those suburban areas revert to swing or even Republican-leaning areas, or if they have shifted permanently, or at least, longer term, into the Democratic column. One thing that has animated voters there tremendously this year have been school board meetings. And Youngkin, kind of hearkening back to this tightrope walk he's taken, as much as he has stopped invoking Trump, he did very much embrace him as he was seeking the Republican nomination. But then once he got that, he tried to appeal to suburbanites, but in some cases with very kind of culture war themes that are closely associated with Trump. So without invoking his name, he reached out on critical race theory, and he opposed some measures that were intended to allow trans students to use the bathrooms of their choice or the sports teams of their choice. So he's tapped into some of that. It's been there've been a lot of highly animated school board meetings and on these topics, and he seems to be gaining ground with that message.
So more than 1 million people voted early in this gubernatorial contest. Laura, what kind of turnout is expected on Election Day itself? And is there a sense of when we can expect to see the results? I mean, how much coffee should we put on for the night?
Could be a late night for sure. And honestly, we don't really know what the turnout will be, in part because the last 4 years have been quite an anomaly. There were typically turnout is much higher here and probably everywhere else in presidential years, and it tends to drop off in the off years. But while Trump was in the White House, there was a really big backlash against him and Democrats turned out in record numbers. Actually, Republicans turned out in record numbers as well. Both sides were highly energized by Trump. Now the question is whether he is still an animating force for both parties or not. And again, he has injected himself into the race in many ways, including with this election eve rally, even if it's not broadcast.
All right, Laura Vozzella, I cannot wait to see what happens tomorrow night. Thank you very much, Laura. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.